Hey, good afternoon. Good evening, should I say. I got caught between afternoon and evening, but good evening, everybody, on this edition of Late Night Nate. I want to talk about the decision made by the Cincinnati Public School Board. They voted 4-3 to return to 5 days a week in person. Now, that includes Walnut Hills. As I've read, Walnut Hills is going to be phased in by grade. And this is supposed to take place on March 31st. I want to get your thoughts about this. Please like and share this. Please like and share this podcast as we get things started this morning. I can't possibly be everywhere. I'm not in every group. I don't know, where everyone is on Facebook. So, wherever you think people might get something out of this conversation, please share it. And then please link all the school board members, in particular the school board members that voted in favor of this decision, so we can make sure that they are aware of what at least a segment of the population feels and thinks about this particular issue. This is Late Night Nate, and I want to talk to you tonight about the CPS board decision to return to 5 days a week in-person learning, and that includes Walnut Hills. Now, they are giving some options, so we'll talk about everything and as much information as I have right now. Well, I'll share it with you, give you an opportunity to share your thoughts as well. Hell, you can even chime in this evening. Very simply at 513-873-7134. I'll take your call. If there's any school board members that want to share their thoughts, you have an open invitation. If there's any parents that want to share your thoughts, consider this an open invitation. Okay, if there's anybody related with Cincinnati Public Schools in any way, consider this an opportunity for you to speak with at least a segment of the population, of the public here, that is concerned about this issue. And if you want to call in and give us say anonymous, if you want to protect your identity because you're afraid of some type of retaliation, I completely understand, family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Hope you are doing. Did I say morning? Good evening. Thank you. I'm just so programmed to be on in the morning. It happens sometimes by mistake. So let's get to it. What do you think about the decision? Jerome writes, hey, Nate, wow, they don't care about life. What do you think about this decision? And let me just run through at least what's being put out there in the news. Okay, so Cincinnati Public Schools were removed to 5 days in-person learning in the spring. Parents are going to have some choices. Here's what your choices look like. Option A, 5 days a week in person. What does that mean? I'm reading directly from a Cincinnati.com article that was written by Madeline Mitchell, who is the education reporter for the Inquirer. Okay. Universal use of masks, physical distancing to the maximum extent possible, but it may not be 6 feet. Hand washing and respiratory etiquette, cleaning and ventilation, contact tracing, isolation, quarantine, screening tests coming for high schools, vaccinations for staff. The second option, option B, is CDA, Cincinnati Digital Academy, or distance learning from homeschool options. Okay, distance learning from homeschool options. So for the start in spring, that means distance learning with Schoology. In the fall, from what I'm reading here with the fine print, let me bring this up. In the fall of 2021, as is being reported, concurrent live streaming options for classrooms with the highest amount of remote-only students. And then the spring of 22, concurrent live streaming options for all. That's what it is. That's what it is. Cincinnati Public Schools will offer 5 day a week in-person learning after spring break. This is what the school board decided today on a 4-3 vote. It was school board member Ryan Messer who made the motion to adopt Superintendent Laura Mitchell's plan to return to an in-person learning 5 days per week for the fourth quarter, beginning on March the 31st. Board members Eve Bolton, Pam Bowers, Mike Morosky opposed the motion, citing inequities with virtual learning options for families that wish to stay remote and complications with Walnut Hills High School. But I want to get your thoughts on it, family. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, you got 1 quarter left. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I want to give you some real straight talk on this evening. I want to give you straight with no chaser. If people don't like it, they get offended. So damn be it. It is what it is. I'm offended. So what? But I want to give it to you straight and give you my thoughts about each and every individual school board member, the school board as a whole, and what I think about this decision. But I also want to get your thoughts as well. What is your thought? Lee writes, I'd stick to the distance learning option. I posted this on Facebook a little while ago. Thank you so much, Joshua. Please share this. Share this so people can see it. And people are responding. See. Ethan writes, weren't many schools already in person? I'm a student and I support this. Yes, but not 5 days a week. Didi writes, there's only 1 quarter left, so I feel like it would have been smarter and safer to just start 5 days next year. I am sure there is some other explanation because it isn't safety. Yeah, but you said 2 words there that, again, in the conversations I had with the school board members, you know, for the majority of them, not all of them, but smarter and safer, that didn't really come up. Clarissa writes, as a paraprofessional, I feel the decision is reckless and I wish our voices mattered. We have gone back and forth so many times this year, and this is so damaging to our children. And I wish we could just stay in blended model for another few months and start back fresh next year. Hey, what's up, Jenny Spring? Good to see you, Jenny. She writes, unconscionable to do with that without an equitable remote option. I'm not opposed to returning to the buildings, but they need something better for remote kids than CDA or the remote thing in Schoology, neither of which provide live teaching. You see Julie Sellers is here. How you doing, Julie? Good evening. She posted a couple of links that I'll put up on the screen this evening for you to check it as well, in terms of the CDC guidelines after you've been vaccinated. She writes, how do schools full of students follow these guidelines? Okay, so it looks like a screen grab from the CDC. Their recommendations for those who've been vaccinated: you should still avoid medium and large size gatherings. Are they going to be able to do that? CPS going to still avoid medium and large size gatherings going back to 5 days a week? And if you are in particular a Walnut Hills parent, what does this mean for Walnut Hills, which we know is overcrowding, which is part of the reason why they remain virtual? Once they're phased in, so for Walnut Hills, from what I've read from multiple sources, they're going to be phased in by grades, but still going back 5 days a week. I want to get your thoughts on this. Is this one of those situations where, listen, we got to go back eventually, so let's get to it? The world is opening up. The state is opening up. Why shouldn't the schools open up, right? That's one school of thought. Or are you of the school of thought where you believe that at this point it would be better to remain with the hybrid system until we get a 100% or nearly, the safest extent possible? Where are you coming from on this? How do you feel about this decision? 513-873-7134. What's up, Brian? Neil writes, Schoology is just posting assignments. You're right about that. If these kids have mental health issues and are so happy to see their friends, will they really follow the rules? No, they're not going to follow the rules. Somebody posted an image from Gamble Montessori. They're in the classroom, but these kids aren't 3 feet up. They're not even they're less than 3 feet apart. You want to see this? I don't know who posted this and where it comes from, but hold on. Let me screen grab this from my Facebook page, and you can check it out for yourself. This apparently it appears to be an image from Gamble Montessori High School. Let me check this out. Can you see that? Hold on 1 second here. Let me bring the chat overlay down. You see that? You see that? Look how close those students are. That's 2 feet away. If that's even 2 feet away. And so that's the reality of it. I mean, and see, again, you can have all the rules and get all academic when you want to, but the practicality of things actually matter. Yeah, you can say it's going to be 3 feet and it doesn't have to be 6 feet, but it's going to be like no feet, really. In some cases, there's nothing they can do about that. When you put a lot of kids in a building, they're not going to be able to shepherd all these children. It's going to be impossible. They're not going to be able to do it. They are ill-equipped. Let me see here. I'm no epidemiologist, but people are going to travel and go visiting over spring break. I question the wisdom of returning fully in person right after students return, probably carrying variants from all over. It's an interesting point. Mindy, I hadn't thought about that. You're right. People are going to be traveling on spring break. They're going to come back and go straight back to school. Well, all I can tell you is, from my view, after talking with many of the school board members, all of them actually, doing an interview with them, other than Pam Bowers, who could only spend about 20 minutes with us, and then she was out. But, okay, I see you, Liz. What I got from most of them is that they believe that their job is to get kids back in school as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter whether it makes sense, because a lot of them, it didn't make any sense in my interview. They did not make any sense whatsoever. They struggled to defend their position. All of them did. And all of them that had this position were it's like grasping for straws, from a logical perspective. But none of that matters, because what was clear to me is that many of the school board members feel as if it is their job, and maybe it is. It is their job to get kids back in school as quickly as possible. And if they gotta, ignore some of the safety here or there, as long as they individual feel they've got some evidence, then that's what they're going to do. That was very clear for me. Even when in some cases it's very hypocritical, like with Ben Lindy. Ben Lindy, got caught with the hot mic and expressed that his fear of, eating around his colleagues, right? And while still voting to send your children and my children back into school buildings. But this is Cincinnati, where you can do that kind of stuff. Like in Cincinnati, you can do this and there's no repercussions whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? You can do all this kind of stuff and get away with it. And that's just the way things happen in this city. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you feel some way about it, then do something about it, whenever that time comes up for Mr. Lindy, in terms of him being, hey, that's great. In terms of him being, on the school board, people have to make their own personal decisions. Same with Melanie Bates. In Cincinnati, you can do what Melanie Bates did in state and keep your job. You can do that. It doesn't matter what she said. It don't matter whether it was her true feelings or not. Don't really matter, because this is Cincinnati, and in Cincinnati, you seem to continue to have concerned interests that are always battling once against one another. It's the reason why it's hard for elements of the city to move forward, because the city's working against itself. And what I would say to the people, if you got a problem with it, do something about it. I told this story. I was walking in Mount Adams a couple days ago. It was over the weekend. The wife and I were getting our daily walk in, right? And we came across an image. I'll share it with you. It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. But, what it told me is that the other side of common sense is out here actively trying to get their perspective, in front of the school board. And it looks like that it worked. So we're walking through Mount Adams and we come across, here it is. We're walking through Mount Adams. Let me see if I can put this up in the camera. Hopefully can pick it up. Hold on. There it is. I came across this. We are CPS, pro teachers, pro safety, pro 5 days a week. Now, one of those is a contradiction to the other two, right? How are you pro safety, but you're pro 5 days a week? That don't even make any sense. But the fact that they have yard signs shows you the level of organization that the pro 5 days a week people have. You know what I'm saying? It just goes to show you that. So if you're not a pro 5 day a week kind of person, my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? Where's your organization? because that's all that really matters. I don't think it's right. I'm not saying it's 100% right. I'm just telling you that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Brandon writes, you can't keep your job if you're a teacher and say that. Base will vote to fire you. I've heard that about her. Liz writes, yeah, but can't wait to get them text messages. Gang of five again? Neil writes, Cincy is corrupt. Maurice writes, you can't do that if you're black, and you won't get city council support either. Yeah, like in Cincinnati, you can do that. Like, there's going to be no ramifications for Ben Lindy. There'll be no ramifications for these school board members. If I had to vote today or give a guess today for the record, I'd have to say that knowing this the way I do, all this outrage that people are having, you ain't gonna be talking about this. Many people won't be outraged come November when it comes to elect. And these school board members know that. They counting on it. Hell, Melanie Bay said, if you don't like it, vote me out. Allegedly, that's what she said that day at the bar. She's like, they don't like it, vote me out. Allegedly, that's what I was told. I believe it. Everything else seemed to be true. Have you noticed how there's no legal action coming in? Remember, Melanie Bates was like, oh, legal action. There's no fucking legal action. You're in public, sis. Keep your voice down. It is what it is. Please share this episode of Late Night Nate so people can know that we're on tonight talking about this. Yeah, I don't think it is what it is. Liz writes, they've lost their damn minds. Well, now they've got a parent survey. And from what we're being told, and again, I'll be honest with you. And people can take it any way they want to. I'd like to see the survey myself and then compare it to the questions. As I was taking it, I thought some of the questions, it could have been tailored in a different way. That's just me. There's a science to doing polling. You can damn near get the decisions that you want by the way that you write a particular question. But it is what it is. So now they have this information from the school, from these school surveys, in which the majority of folks are saying that they want in-person learning. Does that mean that they want 5 days a week in-person learning? I don't know. We don't have all those details. We probably never will. Kathy writes, we have some rooms equipped with tables, 4, 5, 6-year-olds at one table when everyone is in person. Shauna writes, there's no social distancing for meals and transportation as of right now. They gave no plan for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this tonight. I'm going to reach out to all of the school board members that voted for this to invite them onto the show. Now, I tell you, family, I know how people are. And, you know, the interviews that I did with the school board members, it might have rubbed them the wrong way. They might feel some way about coming on the show with your boy moving forward, but I'm going to do my job. I don't care about somebody telling me no. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't care if you don't respond, but I'll be able to say that I reached out. That's my job. My job is to reach out. My job is not to make sure you come through. I can't do that, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's gauge the attitude of some of the school board members toward me in this show after the events of the last couple of weeks. It'll be quite interesting and a little bit entertaining, quite honestly. I'll be honest with you, to see their true nature, because it's all good when it's all smiles. Everybody love each other. It's all good. I love you. But when there's a little bit of a disagreement or things get heated, that's when you see the true nature of individuals. Tiffany writes, kids need consistency. I agree. Neil writes, the kids will be crammed on the buses. Drivers don't wear masks and kids can get on the bus without a mask. Vanessa writes, I'm hoping the Department of Education will come out with real rules. Liz writes, a survey from the Young Activist Coalition states 65% want to stay remote. I'll be honest with you. Shauna writes, it was on Gamble's Facebook page. Is that right? Oh, so they posted this on March 2nd. And again, what I would do is, I've already proven that I am willing to protect confidential sources. I've proven it many times before. I'll say it again. I will protect your identity, even if that means I have to spend time at the Justice Center. It comes with the territory when it comes to journalism. What I would like for people to do is that when they go back to this plan, please feel free, because you might feel some way about putting it out there because maybe you're a teacher or a parent and you're sensitive. I'm not sensitive like that. Okay. I'm not sensitive like that. I ain't worried about no repercussions. I wish they would. That'd be quite fun, quite honestly. I ain't worried about none of that. So send I want people to take photographs, send them to me. We'll put them out there and protect your identity. Let the truth be known. Like if it's going to be distancing, then the photographs or information will back that up. And if not, then the people need to know. I know a lot of people are sensitive about those certain things. I'm not sensitive about it. Whatever happens is supposed to happen. God has my back. Simple as that. Let me see where we at here this morning. Not this morning, but this evening. As you can tell, I'm programmed to say morning. Crystal's clapping. Hey, good to see you. Hey, what's up, Jenny? Excellent work. Thank you for being an advocate for safety and for common sense. I appreciate it. Vanessa writes, not worth the risk. In Italy, are going in complete lockdown again because the new variant is filling up ICUs. So that's my question for you. Is this worth it? Is it worth the risk? Because that's really what it comes down to. Now, the decision has been made. It is what it is. And as parents, as even educators, as professionals, we're going to have to get in where we fit in and do what we got to do to make it successful, right? It doesn't mean we can't talk about it and share our opinions. Don't mean that. You got every right to share your thoughts if you're impacted by this. You got every right. All right. I want to hear your thoughts, or I can read your thoughts this morning. Again, I did it again this evening. I'm programmed. I'm doing a morning show for years and years and years. It kind of just gets stuck in there. But I am catching myself. Good evening to you, Brian. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Please like and in particular share this. Share as much as possible. Tag school board members. They're probably some of them watching. Like, what is this Negro talking about? F him. We gonna do what we want to do. And that's what I got. Like I said, I searched for logic and I could not find it. I couldn't find it. And we'll have to wait and see. Maybe this is the right thing to do. Maybe this is the right thing to do. My gut feeling, if it were me, if I was making a sole decision, in my humble opinion, at this point, let's just do the safest thing possible. And by safe, I'm talking about COVID. I don't want to hear nothing else about nothing else, but that's me. Okay. I am 100% focused on the safety first issue. There are other factors. There are parents out there that are dealing with other factors. Okay. You school board members are looking at multiple factors. I'll say it again. Humans worse than COVID. These school board members, some of them, are worse than COVID. I'll say it again. COVID just wants to replicate. That's it. COVID didn't go to a bar and was talking slick and greasy about parents. That was a human. COVID isn't on the school board in a school board meeting talking about how COVID doesn't feel comfortable eating with your colleagues, and then you turn around and vote to send other children into a same situation that you don't feel comfortable in. That wasn't COVID. That was a human. So COVID, humans worse than COVID. All COVID wants to do is a single-minded determination. These humans got multiple agendas. So we are where we are. It is what it is. The real question is, what are we going to do to protect our families? That's the first issue. It's like, at this point, what I would tell all of my listeners, I would tell everybody in the fam, is you should be preparing your children for 5 days a week. That's what you should be doing. Getting prepared. Prepare your household. Prepare your body. Build up your natural immunity. Start thinking about what your plan is. What's going to be your routine to keep yourself safe? That's what we should be doing right now. We are where we are. And down the road, the real question is, if you're so dissatisfied with these school board members, what are you going to do about it? You know, we could talk to death. We can have all the interviews in the world. But if you really feel that way, what I would tell you, what I would suggest is you do something about it in November. If you feel that way, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, let's just cut to the chase here so we don't waste a lot of time. Number one, get prepared for 5 days a week. Make it happen, Captain. That's what we're going to have to do. You know, building up your natural immunity, thinking about what your plan is going to be, your safety plan. And, you know, what's your protocol going to be for your kids to make sure that, you know, you're doing everything you can. How are you going to prepare your kids for 5 days a week right now? Okay. What is your plan going to be? That's if you're going to choose to go to the 5 day a week plan. If you're choosing for CDA, what's going to be your plan? Start preparing right now, because we know what the problems are, or we have a good sense of what the problems are. So what are we going to do about it? That's what it's all about. That's what we got to do. Mary writes, you should have Julie Sellers call in. I'd love to have Julie call in. I didn't reach out to her, but Julie, if she's out there, absolutely. Absolutely. Brian wants to know, what percentage of CPS students have been vaccinated? It's a good question. I do not know. Maybe someone else does. Kathy writes, I think about 2/3 of the staff. So maybe, okay, again, this is put off until the end of the month. So by then, it'll probably be 100% of the staff, or nearly 100%. Big Papa John writes, I am so disappointed in Carolyn Jones. I thought she was smarter than that. I'll be honest with you, and I will say this to Carolyn Jones. If she's listening, I will say it to her face to face in a very professional manner. I'm disappointed too. You know, just going back to some of the thought process, the things I heard, what I've been seeing, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, where are people coming from? So I second that. But that's just my opinion. Carolyn Jones don't give a damn about what I feel about her. Trust me on that. She don't give a damn. And she shouldn't. And she shouldn't. Somebody asked Julie Sellers on my Facebook page, how can they avoid large gatherings in the school? Julie Sellers just responded within the last minute. They can't. Where will full classes of kids eat? 2 feet of social distancing and no mask? The response was, let the kids eat outside. Really? A hot meal in your lap outside? I mean, again, I think that some of the responses that I got from the school board members left me thinking that they really shouldn't be on the school board. I'll be honest with you. I keep it 100 with you. I mean, it is what it is. There's no repercussions. So I'm going to keep it 100 with you. But that's my personal feelings. As I said about Carolyn, none of these school board members give a damn about what I think or what you think as individuals. They don't care. Why would they care? They're already there. And many of these people from Cincinnati, and they understand the Cincinnati mentality. Get outraged for a little bit and then go back to sleep. Cheese conies, Bengals, Reds, Bearcats. I'm asleep again. They know how this works. They know how this works. So, I mean, it's all about what the actions of the people are going to be. You know what I'm saying? Do I think it's smart at this point? No. But what does that mean? 0. It carries no weight whatsoever. Now, you had a 4-3 decision from the school board. So that means that you had at least 3 school board members that, for whatever their reasons, they didn't really feel this. You know, Melanie Bates voted in favor of this. You know, quite honestly, you know, Melanie Bates has no shame. She has no dignity. She don't. I mean, for her to get caught saying what she said, her performance on this show, that should have been enough for any person with decency and self-respect to say, you know what, my time has passed. But she doubled down on the dumb-ish. Taking pictures with city council members talking about girl power, and you're 60, 70 years old. You mean lady power? Girl power? What the fuck? This one, Melanie Bates, did an interview with the Inquirer talking about, you know what? I was thinking about giving her my space, but now I'm reinvigorated. But it's Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? And she probably got people that support her. So they probably tell her, like, don't let her bully you like that, Melanie. Don't let them bully you. I stand by you. You know, damn it. Let me get my checkbook out right now. I'm going to make a donation for your campaign. So she got supporters. It is what it is. Personally, I wouldn't vote for Melanie Bates to wash cars. There's nothing she could ever do for me personally. But as I keep telling you, my personal viewpoint and your personal viewpoint means nothing. Means this, zero. I didn't mean to say 3, so we'll do it this way, 0. But the collective voices, if people band together, keep this same energy if you feel that way. Because there's a lot of folks out there that feel like, hey, hallelujah, hallelujah, the kids are going back to school. Thank you, school board. So, you know, if you're a school board member, they probably getting information from both sides. But here on this show, we deal with logic and common sense, okay, which is it's a premium these days. It's a premium these days. So, you know, we have many folks here have even inside the chop shop, though, we got different and divergent points of view. It is what it is. So what is my overall point? Number one, I want to tell you what happened. I want to get your reaction, and I want to project to the future. You know, what does this all mean in 6 months? That's what's really going to matter if you feel some way about this. So keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. If you feel that way. Again, I'm not trying to tell anybody how to feel. You feel the way you want to feel. You do what you want to do. We all grown folks. I respect that. I'm just saying. Jessica writes, CPS says 69% have been vaccinated. Liz writes, I thought Carolyn Jones said CDA wasn't adequate. Amina writes, wait, just tuning in. What happened? Hey, what's up, Amina? CPS board has decided for all of CPS to return to 5 days a week in-person learning starting on the 31st. That includes Walnut Hills. Walnut Hills will be phased in by grades. So, you know, maybe Walnut Hills will start with 7th and 8th grade the first week of April or after spring break. And then it'll be 9th and 10th grade and then 11th and 12th grade. But at some point during the 4th quarter of this school year, all of those students are going to be back in class every single day at Walnut Hills during the 4th quarter. And we're still in a pandemic, by the way. Don't forget this. And somebody made an excellent point. Just think about, do you think that after spring break that we might nationally see an uptick in coronavirus infections because people are feeling isolated? There's this thought in many cities and states and communities that things are getting a lot better. People want to get out and play. They want to party. They want to dance around the bonfire while drinking imported beers, right? And taking designer drugs. I mean, come on, you know this country. You know what's going on. So do you think that after spring break that we're going to see an uptick? Maybe so. And we'll just have to deal with it. Now, could things change between now and the 31st? Oh, of course they could. Of course they could. You never know with the school board. You never know. You never know. And we'll see. We'll see. The one thing is, family, we'll do with this together. Neil writes, I'm disappointed in Carolyn Jones, too. She seems like a bully. I don't know. I've said that before, kind of joking, because it seems, I don't know if it's a respect thing or if Carolyn Jones behind closed doors don't play no games. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I have sort of made a joke before about how the school board members seem to react to her, but she's a school board president. So it could be, you know, she's earned their respect. You know, that could be what it is, but it is what it is. Again, I mean, I was disappointed in Carolyn Jones. I would say that, Carolyn, if you're watching, I'm disappointed, you know, after our interview and some of the things that you said. And even that Inquirer article, I was disappointed in, talking about we need to stop the bickering. You caused the bickering, sis. You caused it. You're the president of the school board. Back and forth, making what some would think have said already is unsafe, illogical decisions. Didn't really inform the community and the parents. That's what you set up a guideline of rules. Then when it was convenient, you just kicked those to the curb and didn't tell anybody. That's what caused the turmoil, sis. And got the nerve to tell me something. Stop the bullying. Stop the bickering. She did an op-ed piece for the Inquirer. I was very disappointed. I was offended. Like, wait, stop the bickering. If anybody's going to say that, it shouldn't be you, boo. It should be us, the parents. What are you talking about? Say, listen, here's our guidelines. Here's our rules last year. Here's what we're looking for to return to in-school learning. Flash forward to January, February 2021. All of a sudden, kick that out the curb. Kick it out the curb. We got a whole new thing we doing with no contact with the parents, no surveys, no nothing. And then you got the nerve to say, stop the bickering? Only in Cincinnati can you get away with something like that. You know, a lot of media outlets probably had no problem with it. They saw no fault in it. They're like, oh, okay, that's a nice little headline. For me, I'm like, wait a minute. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? If you want us to stop the bickering, y'all got to start the thinking, start communicating effectively, start thinking logically. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen. But listen, these are my personal viewpoints, which don't amount to a damn thing. Don't nobody care. And I get it. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to do what I do. It is what it is. It is what it is. Good morning to you. Some of these comments are hilarious, y'all. Neil writes, what if it rains? Rain in the spring? Come on, Neil. Man, see, now you're thinking all cynical. Talking about the rain in the spring in the Midwest. How dare you bring up rain in April? It's not going to rain in April. Oh, wait a minute. April showers brings May flowers. Again, I'm laughing to keep from crying. You're right, Neil. You make perfect sense. But all over the country, though, that's what, you know, kids are eating outside because then the coronavirus can be swept away in the wind and all that kind of stuff. I get it. Liz writes, the responses was made up. Oh, man. JD writes, eat outside in Cincinnati? Yeah, in April? Yeah, I'm sure people love to eat outside in Cincinnati, man. And get some entertainment, we love it. And with a drink, we love it. Does the vaccination numbers give us some level of comfort? It gives me a level of, yeah, it does. It does, Brian. I mean, for me, it does because it gives me a level of comfort for the teachers and administrators and the people who get vaccinated. It doesn't give me a level of comfort for the students because the students aren't getting vaccinated yet, right? These are teachers, administrators, you know, those folks. So it gives me a level of comfort for them. But it doesn't mean that even with the as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if you're vaccinated, you can still pass on the virus. You just can't have or won't suffer from severe symptoms. Now, stop me if I'm wrong, right? I don't want to be wrong about something so serious, but it is what it is. Amina writes, I hate it here. Damn, sis, you hate it? That's it. I hate it here. I don't hate it here. I love Cincinnati. I'm here to help Cincinnati improve. So I don't hate it here. You know, at this point, I understand the rules. You know what I'm saying? I understand the rules of Cincinnati now. And I'm not surprised per se by anything that I've seen from the school board. There's been some humdingers too, like the one where you had school board members complaining about being bullied. I ain't being bullied. What'd you say now? No. Gabriel Tay was bullied. You don't get to do that, school board member. Not while I'm here. You don't get to play the I was bullied card. And CPS is in court right now trying to deny their involvement and their culpability in the suicide of Gabriel Tay, who was bullied inside of school and nobody took it serious. No, he was bullied. But again, I'm the only person in Cincinnati media with the balls to say that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else or a lot of folks, they're not going to make those kind of connections and make those kind of points. I get it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It comes with the territory. But when I heard school board members saying that, that's the first thing I thought, like, wait a minute, you what now? Oh, I know you didn't say the B word. I know you ain't pulling the bully card right now, but that's, again, I'm not surprised by this. I just kind of roll with the punches. But have your feelings. I love Cincinnati. I absolutely 100% love Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati. My kids are in Cincinnati. My business in Cincinnati. Everybody I know is in Cincinnati. I love this city. I'm committed to help this city get better. We can do better. We can do much better. But I feel you though, 100%, Amina. In no way am I trying to challenge what you say. That's how you feel. So will all board meetings have an audience now? I don't know that. Didi writes, the teachers being vaccinated protects them, but no, not one damn person is protecting kids from other damn people, period. That is saying we care about the teachers, but F them kids. We shall see. I hope the best. Hopefully there's not going to be any health outbreaks. Hopefully this decision that has been made will, hopefully in a month, we'll look back like, you know what? It wasn't so bad after all. That's what I hope. I don't want anybody to get sick, especially get sick and die, because the decision was made by narrow-minded school board members. There was a lot of narrow-mindedness. See, that's a good way of putting it. And, there are school board members that are just focused. And again, I can only believe that this is what they sincerely believe is the right thing to do. I can only think that, that's the only thing I want to believe, that this is what they believe in their hearts is the right thing to do. And after talking with them, many of them feel as if their job, first and foremost, is to get kids back in school. That's it. It don't matter what's the science. It don't matter what they have to use as evidence of their argument or to back up their thoughts. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it takes is what they're willing to say, do, and use, because many of them have a narrow-minded focus on that. I think about school board member Ben Lindy. He comes to mind. I'll be honest with you. He seems to be, from the beginning, caught on this 5 days a week. And I wonder what's really all behind that. But again, these are the people that we elected to be on the school board. We elected them. And so they did their job. They made the decision. It is what it is. The real question is, what are we going to do about it, if anything? And what I say, and I'll reiterate this for people just coming in, take care of your business. Okay, get prepared for this. Start safety protocols and plans. Figure out, how you're going to deal with when your kids come home. What's going to be your plan? If you can get some of those N94 masks, because from what I've read is that when you double the masks, like you put the N94 mask on and you put a cloth mask over it, it offers you infinitely more protection. Who would have thought that, right? Obvious, right? As much as possible, double up on your masks. Make sure you got the quality masks. Okay, so if the kids got to go to school, double up on the mask. Start today making sure they got good, healthy gut biotics. Okay. The first line of your immune system is in your gut. So that's what we got to build it up. Get your walking in, eating right, eating healthy, keep the sugar down so you can naturally keep your body as strong as possible. So even if you come in contact with COVID, your body is in the best shape to try to do what it needs to do, which is fight. That's what we got to do now. It is what it is. And I'm not surprised by this. I mean, I've heard some rumors here or there. I mean, we already know this. We already know this. So, that's how I feel about it. What do you think? Let me see. Neil writes, the board fell in a trap for Coast to bring them down. You talking about with the possible violation of the public meetings laws? Yeah, I did see the article in Inquirer, and I got complicated feelings about that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. I feel the same way in general. Like, if that's what the rule is, then follow the rule. Like, if you're supposed to do everything in public, then do it. Just do that. So what's up, Cass? Cass writes, it sounds like we could all turn into zombies and the school board would still be like, the most important thing is that the kids are back in school. Cass, you 100% correct. You 100% correct. Again, to me, there are members of the school board. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. But again, you got to keep in mind that some of these same school board members were in place for the FC Cincinnati deal. They voted for that. So, I mean, I had school board member tell me, like, look, we had to vote for the FC Cincinnati deal because if not, then they were going to use eminent domain. I believe that was Carolyn Jones who told me that. I'm like, who? City council was going to use eminent domain? Let them do it. Let them do it. I would love to see that. That would have been interesting to see them do that. So I only make that point to say that, there's members who already have a questionable track record. So it is what it is, family. It is what it is. They are the ones who are in the position, duly voted by the voters in Cincinnati. It's their responsibility. It's their prerogative, and they made their decision. What are you going to do about it? What are you prepared to do about it tonight? What can you commit to do about it? You don't have to put it there in the board. It's just something to think about. Jerome writes, cheese conies, right? Clayton writes, Melanie Bates should resign. She would, but she don't have no respect. I mean, she don't have no respect. Typically, what I've seen when people lack to show respect for other people means they don't have respect for themselves. So who knows what she's dealing with internally. But I agree with you, Clayton. She should have resigned, but it's Cincinnati. So she found some people that like it. So she going to roll with the people that's going to roll with her. I get it. But I'll say it again. I personally would never vote for Melanie Bates to be on the school board after what I heard. And it wasn't just a comment. It was all the stuff afterward, quite honestly. It was really a lot of stuff afterward. Because I get being frustrated. I totally get it. I get being in a bar, you frustrated, you don't think anybody listening. Yeah, but just own it. Yeah, I said it. Instead of trying to say, well, can you tell me who sent me the tape and let me see the tape and then I'll tell you what I said. I mean, wait a minute. You're trying to finesse me. I don't want to be finessed. I'm not going to be finessed. Let me see what you got, then I'll tell you if what you got is really the truth. I already know, but that's my personal opinion, Clayton, and good to see you, brother. Let me see. Mary writes, Eve Bolton only voted no because she says virtual Mondays, because she wants virtual Mondays. She was down with the plan. Bowers and Morosky thought it was unsafe. Well, props to Bowers and Morosky. Appreciate the, people thinking about safety. That's all you really want. As a parent, all you want is for people to think about safety with your kids. I'm not looking for anything else. As a parent, do I understand frustrating days? Absolutely. As a parent, do I understand that sometimes people make mistakes? Absolutely. 100%. But don't try to fucking finesse me. Keep it 100 with me. When you start trying to finesse me and maneuver me and you going to manipulate me and yabba dabba do 1, 2, 3, ABCD, that's when I feel like you don't respect me. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it 100. It is what it is. I am what I am. And then people can make a decision as to whether they want to get down with you like that. Liz Lemon writes, Bates, Bowers, Messer needs to go. Bates, certainly. Bowers, I was disappointed in her appearance on the show. Very disappointed in what she had to say, the way she responded, her logic. I do like the fact that she seems to be much more pensive and thoughtful ever since then in the school board meetings I watch. Ryan Messer, there's a part of me that I don't know Ryan Messer personally, but there's a part of me who feels like personally on a one-on-one level, and I'm not saying I don't feel this way about Bowers and Bates, but on a personal level, that's different. So I won't even go there. As a school board member, how do I feel about Ryan Messer? I would say that my gauge is leaning more toward being disappointed than not when it comes to Ryan Messer. I think that's fair. After doing a quick Yahoo search of my thoughts. What's up, Blessed? Blessed or messy? I think I like the blessed part and a little bit of messy. I like that too. She writes, hello, Nathan and viewers. Hey, good to see you. Maurice writes, she gave no fucks about those she is charged to serve. She's my Melanie Bates. Oh, absolutely. Big Papa writes, LOL, Melanie Bates would never be allowed to near my car. Hell no. Iris writes, not wash my car. Yeah, Iris, that's all I could find. Nothing. I got it. Jody writes, replying to Dee Dee, parents, 54% said they wanted back in 5 days a week in the survey. So they said it was overwhelmingly in favor of 5 days back. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say overwhelmingly, but it's actually the majority statistically by 4%. It's the majority. I mean, how many people filled out the survey? If you're someone who's against it, but you didn't fill out the survey, then where were you? And, so now the school board members feel like they've got the surveys to back up what they wanted to do anyway. And it's hard to say they don't. Look at the survey. Glenn writes, conservatives around Cincinnati rallied around Melanie Bates. Jason Williams was the Pied Piper. Jason Williams was the Pied Piper. He was. I thought that his article about Melanie Bates was propaganda, quite honestly. It was just straight up spin and BS. But again, that's what Jason Williams gets paid to do. That's why he has a JOB with the Inquirer, because he gets some clicks. That's the whole point. So as a journalist, again, shit, I think it's good to have divergent points of view, and you got people that appear to be leaning to the conservative side. I mean, it just adds to the conversation. It is what it is. His logic can be questioned, but that's what he do. That's what he do. It is what it is. Liz writes, I've been on their ass and gonna keep pushing. Keep it up, Liz. Liz writes, we need them text messages. Well, hopefully they'll get those text messages, or somebody's going to have like a hot tub situation, like hot tub Cranley. Judge says, you know what? We want to see your text message on your phone, from your phone. Hot tub Cranley says, you know what? What phone? I dropped it in the hot tub. It's what it is. Neil writes, the Coast folks are licking their chops. Are they? To me, Coast is politically motivated. So we shall see. Julia writes, CDA is very good. Really, Julia? Hey, good evening to you. Really, it's rare when I hear such a glowing review of the CDA. I believe it means the Cincinnati Digital Academy. Okay, great to hear it. Jerome writes, he said, wash cars. Hey, Nate, chill out. Brandon writes, 7 to 9, March 31st. The rest come the next week. Dog pile. Is it dog pile? Iris writes, make any of this make sense. Iris, I'm with you 100%. You already know. I still remain completely without understanding as to the motivations of the school board's members. There is a motivation there, and I suspect that there's multiple agendas, but I have not been able to figure out what it is and to satisfy any kind of logical, inquiry that I might have. I have no idea. I don't know where the fuck they coming from, to be honest with you. I don't really get it. It's late night, Nate, so the language can be relaxed. Hopefully your kids at 10-20 can't hear me, and if they do, that's your fault, mom and dad. All right? I don't know where the fuck they coming from, quite honestly, but it is what it is. The shit really don't make a whole lot of fucking sense, quite honestly, but we are where we are. It is what it is. Simple as that. Gabriel writes, or they can opt to do CDA or 5 days distance learning from their homeschool with no live lessons. That seems fair. Bates and Lindy are trying to put the brakes on getting a live streaming infrastructure for the fall too. Is that right? Mary writes, I just don't understand. I thought about I do live streams, you know what I'm saying? I produce digital media. So I thought about what would be the best and perhaps the cheapest solution for CPS. And I can see how that can get pricey. Depends on It depends on the level and the quality of the stream. Okay, it depends on the level of the quality of the stream. But there could be quite an investment. I mean, if you're trying to do a webcam, a webcam can cost you anywhere between, and we're not even talking to any like mirrorless or DSLR cameras or anything like that, right? We're not even talking about some of your Canons or your Sonys. You might be talking about like a Sony 6600, or we're not even talking about those kind of cameras that you might see somebody do photography or videography with, but they can also do live streaming. If we were just talking about webcams, a webcam would run you about anywhere between $100 and like $250, maybe $200 for a webcam. This is a webcam with a USB connection that you could plug into a laptop that also has a microphone attached to it. I got a couple around the house. I'm not using a webcam right now. I'm using a mirrorless camera, but that's one web solution. If you was trying to go top flight with it and you was trying to find a live streaming solution, just a one cam setup per room, I mean, you could go as high as $1,500, for something that is mounted, that's going to give you great quality. It's not going to have any sound, have some great, video quality, and, can actually kind of, but who's going to be moving it, right? So I would say if it were me, and again, I haven't looked at the infrastructure CPS, and then you got to think about what the network burden might be. They're already doing internet anyway in every class anyway. I just don't understand why that is such a difficult solution. I really don't. The more I think about it, I live stream every single day. So I'm trying to figure out why that would be uniquely difficult for CPS. Would it be more of a burden on your bandwidth? Certainly, you're streaming video and audio in every single classroom. Oh, certainly. But that seems to be an easy fix. In terms of hardware per classroom, like I said, I mean, depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to do a simple USB webcam, $100, $200. If you're trying to put something that's going to be like in the back corner of the room, that's going to do video and audio, you're going to get a whole lot more pricier then, right? A whole lot more pricier. But I mean, like I said, it could be upwards of $1,500. They got cameras that range $1,500, more than that. You know what I'm saying? But smarter people than me, I'm sure, are going to work on it and come up with a solution. They're saying they won't have the solution in place until next year, spring. I'm like, is it a money issue? Is it a money issue? I mean, logistically, I'm sure there's a lot of folks around the city that's their wheelhouse and can figure out that solution, but it is what it is. I feel like I'm meandering a little bit. Let me see. Angela writes, I will never put my kids in CPS. The whole board is full of people who truly don't deserve to be on that board. Yeah, I'll say what I've been saying is that crisis is a challenge of leadership. A crisis is a challenge of leadership, and either leadership is going to step up to the challenge or they're going to get stepped over. And in my humble opinion, this crisis has revealed that perhaps there are members of the school board that are not ready for it. Now, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that every experience makes you better. And what I would hope for these school board members and for CPS is that they emerge from this crisis better, stronger, more flexible, right? Nimble. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So, no pun intended, because I know a lot of people have died of COVID, but you understand the point I'm trying to make. So there's an opportunity for the board members for CPS to arise from this, or say emerge from this even better as a district, even better. And that's what I would hope that we see from the board and also from the district, is that they get better. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody understands, no matter where you fall on this 5-day week and learning thing. And again, if there's any parents out there that are pro 5 days a week, I'd love to get your thoughts. feel free. I'm not going to be with you much more longer. Probably maybe at the maximum another 15 minutes. It's late night, Nate, but I do a morning show as well, 7:30 a.m. But here's my number. Like if you're a parent, that's Ashley's number. Hold on one second. If you're a parent and you feel like, hey, this is a great thing, I'd love to hear your story. I love to hear your story. All opinions are valid here on the show. Okay. There are no right or wrong answers. I just want you to be honest with me. That's valuable enough. Just share me your honest thoughts, no matter what they are. You're not going to get shouted down or interrogated by the host. Okay. I value your opinion, and feel free to share it if you like to. You don't have to, though. You can always do your thing. KK writes, who's outside with cicadas? T. Greg writes, good evening. What do you make of the school board text messages? Alt middle. Well, what I would say about the school board text messages is that if I were an elected official in a post text message scandal on city council world, I would be crossing my T's and dotting my I's. That's my style. If I was an elected official in Cincinnati and I was a part of a board, I would be learning from the mistakes of the members of city council. That's what I would do. That's just me. I don't know. Is there going to be a lawsuit against the school board and we're going to see another text messaging scandal type of situation? I don't know. I have to go to Coast Facebook page or Twitter page. I'm sure if they want to go with it, they will. So Robin writes, Houston, Texas in the house. What's up, Robin? What's up with your governor down there? Your governor said no. Not only is he opening up the businesses 100%, but he lifted the mask mandate, which is for people with common sense. You got to be thinking, why? Why lift the mask mandate? That's a political decision right there. That's a straight up political decision right there. Kimberly writes, it's something new every day with the Cincinnati Board or CPS Board of Education. Yes, it is. It appears that way. Yo writes, Nathan for school board. I appreciate that. Mrs. Love Being Black writes, you're right, Nate. You can still get it and pass it with the vaccines. No students under 16 can get the vaccine. So I'm happy that the teachers and administrators are going to be protected, but that leaves open the kids. Again, it just makes you wonder what the school board values. What is their agenda? And I can tell you, many of them are pro back to school as fast as possible. The idea of being out for an entire year was not going to happen for many of them. It wasn't going to happen. That wasn't even an option. Many of the school board members can't fathom that. And I can't figure out why. I don't know if there's some hidden agenda or forces, or if it's they feel as if they don't have a role if kids are not in school. I don't know. It could be a mixture of both, but we may never know. Melanie writes, how do we even know if our child's teacher chose to get vaccinated? Good one. Neil writes, kids will be sick. Neil writes, Lindy is TFA and CBC. Okay, what is TFA? Teach for America. Okay. Right. Teach for America. So he was a president, right? Is that right? I think he's the president of Teach for America, or at least a chapter here in Cincinnati. And don't they provide substitute teachers in the school building? So I'm wondering if he isn't impacted. Again, I'm just spitballing here. I don't have any inside information or anything like that. But as we try to figure out what the motivation is, then we shall see. Big Papa John writes, Ben Lindy is a former charter school executive. I believe his wife's still running a charter school organization. He's shady AF. I mean, Sister Iris writes, N95. That's what it is, N95. All right, hold on one second, family. I need to take a quick break. We'll continue the conversation. Don't go anywhere. It's the Nathan Ivy Show. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. And this is the Late Night Nate edition. We'll be right back. All right, family, I'm back. Thank you for that quick break. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into it, shall we? Please like and in particular share today's show. April writes, the blanket of politics only gives the people in power, CPS Board, the opportunity to decide the fate of those who are in power. Lee writes, the doctor's masks work pretty good. Haven't had a cold all winter. Ray writes, I heard that out of the 70% of black students, only 40% of parents did the survey. Can anyone confirm? If so, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. So the question would be why? Neil writes, do you know how hard it is to keep kids wearing masks correctly? Kids come off the bus without a mask. When from my observation so far, yes, that's very, very true. It's very, very true. It's very, very true. Tiffany writes, replying to someone else, Carpenter always about the money. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. TAF is vibrated while students are trying to learn with that stadium. TAF High School vibrated while students were trying to learn with that stadium. Is that right? Yeah. Neil writes, it's not Melanie's comments. To me, when she was in a golf cart during a board meeting, I was done with her. Cass writes, we need to buy some land, learn how to grow our own food, and make sure our immune systems are as strong as possible. 100%. 100%. Liz writes, it's the way they deliver their message. Pamela writes, I'm watching Channel 19 News. Story about a black female employee told her hair wasn't professional by a black dentist. Is that right? Neil writes, Messer comes across as privileged. Is that right? So, a black dentist. Is that a Cincinnati story, or might be something I'll pick up in the morning? For now, I want to keep it on just one topic with this late night Nate. But I will look for that. I'll look for that article to send me a link and I'll check it out. Might be something we talk about tomorrow morning. It's too late in the year to go back to 5 days a week. Well, like I told Ben Lindy, I told him, I said, the school year is almost over. It's almost over. I don't believe that. You're talking about going back for the last quarter. That means almost over. That's what it means. So, again, we can have all the thoughts we want. They made the decision. It is what it is. Nancy writes, the survey was flawed. You could submit unlimited responses online. The question, the surveys were terrible. It was all about it was all but impossible to indicate you did not want to go back. Then they didn't provide translations. They created a poll that gave them the answer that they wanted. Brandon, that's my opinion about it as well. That's my opinion about it as well. But Cash writes, Neil Thomas, that's true. How do you know both parents didn't fill one out? If it was one per household, I think that would make a difference. With everybody. Lawrence writes, Inquirer actually suing for board text messages, not codes. Let's be factual. Okay. Neil Wright, privatization of schools is on the long-term agenda. Tiffany writes, with this decision, students who choose to stay remote are basically left out. That's how I would read it as well. Happy Day writes, I honestly can't say I'm surprised at this decision. I'm not surprised at all. Neil writes, Hartman is going to sue the board. Coast. Tyree writes, if that's the case, I need to get them on. I need them to get me a R5 with an 85 millimeter 1.8. Is that right? The Canon R5. All right. Oh man, I doubt they'll be using those. Liz writes, I won't tip my hand, but it's for sure possible and was done. Neil writes, the board gets paid very little money. It's a political springboard. That's one reason for the incompetence. Neil Thomas writes, CPS students equal Hunger Games. Rick writes, Nate, they have had a year to emerge successfully, and the only thing to me that they have been successful at is being a ginormous disappointment in leadership, transparency, and common sense. Yo writes, what will happen if a cafeteria worker tests positive for COVID and pass out food to the kids? Sounds like a bad attendance problem to me. Liz writes, why was Laura on a cane? Amina writes, so they have been virtual 8 months and send them back for 8 weeks is going to make a difference. I think the fuck not, right? Amina, what you just said makes so much sense. They've been basically virtual for 8 months. Now they want to send them back for 8 weeks. And that makes sense to them. Like, this is 8 weeks before the summer break, by the way. And this makes sense. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense at this point. But what I'm here to tell you is some of these school board members were dead set against the idea of being out for the rest of the school year. It's not even something that they could even register. It's not even something that they could register. And the 5 days a week crowd was politically organized. They were politically organized, but I can tell they didn't really believe, because I had it set up to do an interview with a gentleman who was like pretty like out there in front with the whole 5 day a week movement. He never called back into the show. He didn't want this smoke. And all it was going to do was be a conversation about logic and rationale. But he didn't want any of that. But it doesn't really matter, because they got what they wanted. They wanted kids to be back in school for the after spring. So we're going to have spring break, which last spring break, it was a super spreader event. Then the kids are going to go back to school for the fourth quarter, 5 days a week. And then they're going to break for the summertime. It is what it is. Emily writes, while I agree the board is a hot mess, you do want them to do what, Emily? I'm very curious. Sean writes, you can stay at your homeschool and use the Schoology platform with basically no teacher-led instruction. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, boy. All right, so Liz writes, my son caught strep and the flu at the same time a month before DeWine shut down the schools. 117 kids and staff were out in one day. They didn't shut down to clean. Happy Day writes, they need to come to East School during lunch, stand in a room of maskless, screaming, eating kids. That would be justice, but they're not going to do that. Hey, listen, family, I just wanted to come to you a little bit tonight and do a special late night Nate edition and share this information with you. I'll be back with you and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for the Nathan Ivey Show, brought to you by the good folks at Sin Digital Media. Our message and our mission is simple: amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. So please like and share this video and like and share this platform. And check out our podcast as well. Tomorrow, Midday Juice with Ask Ashley at 1 p.m. Friday, Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. Over the weekend, you've got the Dope Chicks Collective, got a brand new podcast. We've been doing the audio. The audio's out. It's called the Melanin Insights Podcast, hosted by Britt and Cass. I know you're going to fall in love with it. It's up on audio platforms right now. Please subscribe as we build out this platform, as I'm working with all of these very, very talented influencers and creative people. And I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. All right. Please like and share, and we'll talk real soon. I'm out.